Welcome back to the Forces of Employment Charity, the podcast. I am your host, Catherine, and in this series, we dive into the stories, insights, and resources that support service leavers, veterans, reservists, and their families in their quest for meaningful careers and fulfilling lives. So for many veterans, leaving the military means not just adjusting to a new lifestyle, but finding a new purpose, new challenges, and often a new career. The process of transitioning to civilian life is unique for each individual, but one thing remains constant, and that is the importance of finding the right fit. So whether it's in a new career, within a new community, or through a new sense of purpose, the journey is deeply personal. In today's episode, we're joined by two incredible guests who have walked this path themselves. First, we have John, an employment advisor with the Forces Employment Charity. Now, John has been a guiding force for many veterans, offering mentorship and support to help them navigate their career transition. And then we have Matt, who was once a client of the charity and John himself. And after receiving support and guidance through his own career transition, Matt has now returned to the charity as an advisor, helping others the same way he was helped. John and Matt, thank you both for being here today. Before we dive into your story, could you briefly introduce yourselves and share what you do here at the Forces Employment Charity? Matt, let's start with you.
Hey, thank you very much, Catherine, for having me. And hello, John, mate. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm employed with you guys as an employment advisor, and I'm based down in the southwest. So I pretty much look after anything from Exeter all the way down to Land's End. Being based in Plymouth myself, it's good to be local and be able to help the guys down here.
Fab. John?
Hi, everybody. My name's John. I am an employment consultant advisor, same as Matt. Please don't be fooled by my accent. I cover the East Midlands. I'm currently covering maternity leave from my colleague Claire. I support veterans through many programs, and this is where I met Matt originally.
Wonderful. And before we get into that story, Matt, let's talk about your journey first and a little bit about your background and your transition from military life to civilian life. What was that like for you?
Yeah, it spans back all the way to sort of like 1997 when I first joined at the sweet age of I think I was not even 17 at the time. And I was inspired by my dad to sort of join the forces. And that's kind of my career. That's all I ever knew from being 16. And so when you embark on that journey of leaving the services, it's a really, really hard shift to actually work out who you're going to be when you leave, because effectively last time was when I was 16, and apart from that, I've held a rank, a position, or a purpose doing that. So it was a very, really strange time. And actually, when I left, I think probably a lot of people who are leaving or have just left might resonate with this, but I thought I was really, really prepared for leaving. I thought, yeah, this won't affect me. I'm sorted. I'm more civvy than I am service person, and that was my mindset. But actually, I wasn't really prepared for what that would be like, because I left on Christmas last year, December 23, and everybody went on Christmas leave. That was great. And then Christmas leave finished, all my friends went back to work and I didn't. So I was like, oh, well, that's cool. That's like an extended Christmas break. And then that Christmas break sort of transited into maybe 2 months of not doing much. And initially I was just sort of enjoying the freedom of it. And then I was just realized that actually for 2 months, I wasn't in a particularly good place, with where I wanted to be, where I thought I should be. And that's why initially I reached out to the Forces Employment Charity, because I thought, right, enough's enough. Once you get a couple of looks from the families in, are you going to do that forever, or are you actually going to go and get a job? Yeah. I needed some support with the CV, because that's one thing I didn't have, and that's the first stepping stone to finding that job. Saw the advert on Facebook and thought, well, I'll give these guys a shot. I've got nothing to lose, and that was the beginning of the story, and then how I met John.
Oh wow, that's awesome! I didn't know you found us through Facebook.
Yeah, it was an ad, actually. It was, and I saw it, and I'd seen actually one of my friends had left some feedback, and that was the thing for me. When I saw a friend, it's like social selling, isn't it? I saw a friend leave feedback on how they were treated, and I was like, yeah. And they helped with CVs. That was literally an application, and then I got an initial holding email just to say, we've got your registration, somebody be in touch, and then this guy here was straight on the phone. It's like my surrogate dad.
I was being a stalker.
Oh, that's so cute. So we were obviously Forces Employment Charity. We were the first go-to point then, right after you left.
Yeah. I think I don't know. It's probably because you talk about, like when you talk about things in your house, and
Yeah.
obviously employment and new jobs and this and the search, but search engines and stuff will start feeding you things that you want to look at. And yeah, obviously, Forced Employment Charity is one of the top hits that got my attention. And I think because it wasn't necessarily a charity for, like, there's lots of charity support out for lots of different things, but specifically for employment support, which at the time, that's exactly what I needed. I needed a bit of direction. I think I was a
Yeah.
little bit lost, and I needed that direction. And yeah, that's exactly what I got from minute one.
Wonderful. And so just to expand on that, you said you were a little bit lost. What were some other biggest challenges that you faced when you first left the military, you think?
My expectations of what I was going to do when I left were nowhere near what I thought they were going to be. And I think when I was a physical training instructor. That was my job, and I certainly didn't want to be employed in the fitness industry. I'm like, no, 45 next month, this month actually. So wearing shorts and vest at 45 is not the best looking. I'll be honest with you. So I had no intention of following that through as a career path. So I was like, well, what did I do in my job that I really enjoyed doing? And actually, for me, I really enjoyed working with people. I really enjoyed coaching and helping and supporting people to get from point A to point B. Be it a fitness journey, this is just a similar thing, but with employment. But yeah, I did struggle a little bit when I was leaving about the dreaded cutting up of the ID card. That was quite a surreal moment, especially when it drops into the bin. You're like, oh, I actually can't come back in the base here. So yeah, I think trying to find out who I was again at 44 at the time was a big challenge. Even things like, I know this is a different story, but I'd never paid for a prescription before. And I was not very well I think I was actually, the day I spoke to John, I wasn't very well, and I went to the doctors and I got a prescription, went to the pharmacy, picked the prescription up, walked off. I had no idea. I literally had no idea. I was like, oh no, sorry, I'm so sorry. I just walked off with it.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny, isn't it? I know, and it sounds like a crazy story. Most people think, what? But
yeah.
I've never had to deal with that.
Never. So it's just the little things, isn't it? Getting, finding yourself again in the smallest possible
ways. Obviously, I pay for them now.
Yeah, no. Yeah. That's good that you said that.
Can't keep using that excuse.
Oh, brilliant. So you mentioned a bit about what you were hoping you were looking for your future and what you envisioned and everything. So walk us through your experience once you registered with the Forces Employment Charity and when you got.
So initially it was really easy. I got a holding email come back to say, we've got your registration. Would you provide proof of service? So I just took a screenshot of whatever I had. I think it was my veterans ID card hadn't gone through, so I think it was my discharge certificate. Sent it through. They got back, said your advisor would be with you, within the next few days. But actually, it was the very next day, and I got speaking to this cheerful chap, and he picked up my phone and said, "Hello, my name is John. I've come to like chat with you." And initially, it was just, all I needed from the charity at the time was a CV. And that's what I'd asked for. But John was really, really good in the way he sort of it was like talking to somebody I already knew. That's how comfortable it made me feel. And I was like, wow, this is nice. And actually that 5-minute conversation turned into a 45-minute conversation, just because we were just chatting, and John was, leading the conversation, and probably drawing out a lot of information that he needed without me knowing it. And I think that's a skill set of its own to be able to do that with people. And that really put me in a comfortable position, enough for me to open up to tell him what I needed. And then that 45 minutes later, John came to me with a proposition.
Wow. So then how did you find this role right now as an employment consultant? How
it was
John?
It was literally John. He said to me at the end of it, obviously I'm, being a PTI is my background. I'm not short of, being able to speak, I think it's probably too much. And he said, look, I really think from the conversation we've had, you could do a job like this, And I initially went, because I've only ever been, in the forces, done my job. So for me to switch tack and go for something completely different. And then he brought out some of the qualities that I had as doing my job as coaching, mentor and stuff. And that journey from A to B, it doesn't matter if it's physical training, nutrition, whatever it may be. Actually, you're getting the person from A to B in a different way. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And he said, look, there's a job opening tomorrow. It's closing tomorrow at 12 o'clock. I know it's a tight timeline, but do you want to send me a CV? And then we kind of laughed about it, because that's the whole reason I went on the call, was to get a CV. So John helped me really quickly, like within backwards and forwards with emails and stuff. We put together a decent CV, and I applied for the job and went through the process. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Incredible. So
Yeah.
that was kind of your
Yeah.
aha moment, wasn't it? When you realized you were heading in the right direction, thanks to John.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And John, so when Matt first came to you, what was his situation like, and how did you approach him guiding through his career transition?
Again, just as normally, we will get the referrals sent over to us as consultants. I think personally, you need to strike with the iron sword. You have to get there quickly. Just because if somebody's reaching out for support and help, the longer you delay it, it's more challenging for them. So again, it's just a case. I quite like to do the initial call as just a friendly welcome call. Just saying, hi, this is who I am, this is what I do. Can you ask me why you've contacted us? What support are you looking for? Also ask them, are you aware of what the charity is and what we do? You would be quite surprised how many people contact us and say, I don't know who you are and I don't know what you're doing, which is something that we need to look at our site when promoting ourselves. So again, I just made the initial contact with Matt. I think a lot of our role is just being open and just being friendly. Just having the questions to say, listen, Matt did ask me a couple of things, and obviously I'm aware of situations that we have and things that we may be able to do to support. The great thing is when you're initially speaking is to get the guys to recognise their transferable skills. A lot of the people we deal with do not understand, I don't have any skills. I led a team of 100 people into war, but I don't have any skills. I mean, it's just crazy. And again, the pressure side, the work thing. But I did say the most important thing for me as a skill set is how reliable that cohort group are. They have to be reliable, because when they are in that role, people's lives depend on it. And that's not being too glib or thingy. So the reliability for me is not an issue. In Matt's journey, he was probably a bit down in confidence, not feeling great as well. I mean, as he said, it was just after Christmas. It's a time where all of us sort of are quite reflective on things that we're doing. We did speak briefly about things, and it became, as you can all probably all hear, very apparent that this guy's got a lot to offer, and a lot to offer in all different types of roles. And I just thought from our cohort client base, he would be an ideal person to do the role. He has the experience of what it's like leaving, try to enter Civvy Street, try to do these things. It isn't obviously up to dub, but it's good to hear, well, this is the challenging, and then just listening to him. But even just the chats we were having, and like his confidence even growing, and I was just, and we did have a bit of a joke because the role he actually went for was the job I was doing. So I was talking myself out of a job. Because obviously the area needed someone within the Plymouth area and local base.
Right.
So he'd also so many good connections, which I think a lot of the veteran guys forget, that their network is very strong and it's very, very powerful. And it's a great thing to tap into. And again, as we started chatting about the role, about how it would work, and yes, the timescale was, it just shows how, please pick up the phone, because you never know what will change. That it was the next day. I spoke to two of our linemen and I said, I think I've got a really, really good person here for this role. Thankfully, they did listen to me, Matt.
Yeah, thankfully.
And again, I did a lot of saying, promoting. My job as mentor is to promote my clients. and I believe in them and I believe in the skill set, I would never let them openly fail because I'm letting them down, and then that trust would go. But no, it was, and honestly, it was, I would agree, it was like speaking to a friend and going, Lana, I really do think you can go for this. And then we done a bit of interview stuff on Teams. Again, if you're struggling with things, they've not really experienced interviews, a lot of the guys. So we do a bit of stuff like that, just doing the Teams interview. But honestly, when you just got a feeling, says, no, this person's ideal for this. And we just need to get it to the next stage. And as I say, I can only take a horse to water. I can't make it drink. Matt ran with it superbly. He took ownership. But I think that's because within the conversation, his confidence had been built up. And I think that was really, really important. Then he went to the interviews, and now he's a colleague.
And he's a colleague. Now you're working side by side each other. That's amazing.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good feeling. Actually, a lot of the stuff that John did for me, I always use that as a standard template for myself now about how I manage my caseload. Little things like, I know it's small, but the day of my interview, I got a text from John, said, "Good luck with your interview, mate. Just be yourself. You'll be enough." Little things like that. I was just like, well, and now I use that as a standard, for me to set for everybody, whether I'm calling them, texting them, texting them just before they think or after how did your interview go? Let's chat, all those little things there. And I always now, as a standard, say to myself, I want to make my clients feel how John made me feel. That's kind of where I lead with it now. So so that's down to you, mate.
Oh, you made an impression, John.
Yeah, just need to grow my beard a bit now. Keep it.
You have, Matt.
We got the same barber.
You still got a long way to go, Matt.
Yeah, I know. I'm jealous. I've got beard jealousy.
I know you're going the same way there, where you're washing.
I know, we've got the same barbers, mate. Yeah, that's good.
That's brilliant. And so, Matt, were there any particular pieces of advice from John that stood out to you? Or change approach to finding?
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny old thing because, like John mentioned just now, you never have to interview when you're in the military. I did it once when I was 16. I was still sat there and just answered some questions, but I'd never had an interview. Never been on a Teams interview. Obviously, I've done Teams calls, but it's very, very different. So John just sort of like, he put me into bat with the right kit on. That's how I would look at it, and I, if my line manager's watching this now, but when I had my Teams interview, literally behind me, I had plant pots, right? And they had Post-it notes stuck all over them, like the history of this, because obviously I wanted to, give myself the best account I could. Yes, I researched the company, had some good questions, and they used, the advice that John gave me about interesting questions to ask them. But behind the screen, honestly, it was like the Matrix. There was information here, and obviously I just wanted to make it good. But that was all advice. And if you've never done a Teams interview, there's sacks of advice that we can give you. If you've never done a face-to-face or you haven't done it for a while, there's lots of new techniques that come in, and certainly even the application process now, with the new technology that's coming into place, even probably in the last 2 or 3 years, I'd say. John, would you agree with that? There's a lot of applicant tracking software now, which it's a little bit like Tinder for CVs, right? If you've got a particular CV and it hasn't got the right layout, it's got pictures, text boxes, and things like that, it swipes left. It doesn't understand what the information is. So people might get an automatic email back saying, "Sorry, you're not the right candidate." And those people might be sat there going, "I'm the best bloke in the world for this job. How has that happened?" But that's why I call it Tinder for CVs. That's whether it's right, it works. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to put you into bat with the right kit on, so that you at least get the best outcomes you can.
And so, how did it feel for you, Matt, to come back to the Forces Employment Charity in this new role? So knowing that you'd be in a position to help others, just as you were helped once by John, how did that feel? That full circle moment.
It's a real privilege, It's because I remember that time of leaving, and I remember feeling that overwhelm of like, I don't really know what I'm doing. There's a lot of, not just the fact that I was leaving the service, but as a dad, as a partner, there's a lot of financial pressure. There's a lot of self-imposed pressure. And once I'd realised I secured a job, and I was like, right, breathing space. I
Yeah.
realized that actually I could start my job, and what was most important to me about, how can I validate people's feelings, you know, to let them know I've been there as well. And not that you don't necessarily need to have those qualities, because clearly John did a good enough job with me to make me feel comfortable and secure. But I do have that background, and I do use that, to my disposal. And I quite often have that tri-service banter, obviously, from being in the senior service, Royal Navy. I quite often pick up the phone, and I can have those conversations with people, and make them feel comfortable enough to open up to say, look, what is it you want? Because we've got a whole suite of information that we can give people.
Yeah.
But I need to find out the first question: how can we help you? And we can only do that by asking the right questions. What next? What would you do next? And this is what you're taught. So it feels a real privilege for me to be able to, even some people pick up the phone because they just need a bit of advice.
Yeah.
And if I'm able to give that advice and set them on the way, great. That's a really good outcome for me and for them as well.
Yeah, wonderful. And John, how did it feel for you when Matt returned and became part of the team? What was it like seeing him go from seeking help to now being in a position to give back like you are?
A nightmare. No, do you know what? It was absolutely fantastic. Again, mirror what Matt was saying, it's so rewarding that and I think even for Matt, but now I know more about Matt and I know him personally, and we're probably friends now, so I've got a friend for life from it, which is amazing. But also the fact is the impact it has with Matt's family, and he's a partner, and the situation, and you're not just rewarding one person, you're rewarding so many people, and that is a very powerful thing. You change the lives of people. That one client actually said to me the other day there, what you've done means I can feed my grandkids. And it wasn't, you're just like, you cry. You just think, you don't realise the huge impact you have, not only just on one person, but their immediate people round about them. So, no, it's been great. It's just a great addition to our team. All great personality, just so, I'm sure our whole team would agree with that. It's a thing you need to be careful with as well when you are doing this, is the person the right fit for a role when you actually know the people that are there as well. You can have skills to do things, but if you're not the right person fit, you're not doing them a good service or the team. So it's just ideal. But yeah, it's just been fantastic, actually. It's really, and it's great seeing that. And also, I see the growth, the development, the thing as well. I don't see that obviously with all candidates, but I do. The great thing is I think a huge part is after what we do. So once they're there, contacting them, saying, are you still okay? Do you still need us? I'm fortunate enough that I work beside Matt, so I see that every day. But I'll still do that if I did. I would contact Matt monthly to like saying, I'm here, do you need anything? And honestly, some of the email responses you get back, it's changed my life. I'm loving my job. I'm changing. It's great. It's just, and I can see it physically and that. So yeah, good to have him on board.
Oh, that was lovely, John.
Get smoking here, mate.
Like that.
So Matt, now that we've heard your story, what advice would you give to other veteran service leavers who are, currently navigating their own career transition?
I think if you're thinking about it, the time is right. Just, obviously, if you are service leaving, it's be 12 months before you're about to leave. This CTP are there for support. That they do a great job of transitioning you that 12 months before and 2 years after. So absolutely utilize all the courses. You're entitled to so much leave and so much support. I think you have to be a little bit selfish in that last 12 months, because your family will thank you after if you do that. And I would say I was maybe a victim of not doing that as well as I could have. I'll be completely honest with you, because I was very, very busy, but I was also trying to keep things going and making sure I was just balancing too much, and I should have been a bit more sort of selfish with what I was doing. But certainly when when you get into the the transition period and you reach out to these people, you're going to get a professional person that will be able to answer the questions you have. And if just reach out. It doesn't cost anything to either look into some information, get some information back, look for some free courses. There's lots of programs we run. Whether you're looking to get into tech and you want to go into tech vets, or if you want to speak to us and find out what the local job market's doing, or even just craft a new CV like I wanted. There's lots. And I think if you're thinking about it, don't wait with your finger over the button. Just press it and let us do the work.
Wonderful. And what about you, John? Do you have any advice?
My main advice is just go, follow your instinct and go with it. You've got nothing to lose. Remember, our program is voluntary, so you'll not be forced into be open, as honest as you can be, so that we can direct you to the right person and give you the right support. Sometimes it's just a case of letting something out and just hearing the stuff back to you. Never forget your transferable skills either. From there, you can see us where, as Matt said, the Facebook thing is really all the websites, all the things were there. We just want you to do that. The great thing about registering with us is you will complete the links or do the calls. You will be put through to, we have a fantastic support team that support us with the initial registry. They will look at your proof of service, they will give you the advice, and then they will send your details over to either myself or Matt or one of our colleagues. We have different teams. We will all offer the same professional service. And as I say, we will endeavour to contact you right away, because if you're reaching out for support, you don't want to wait. You need the support because you've asked for it.
We've got some incredible advisors within the Forces Employment Charity, and like John mentioned, who are here to offer you one-on-one advice, interview techniques, CV opportunities as well. And also we have a great array of pathway events happening next year. Yeah. So definitely register with the Forces Employment Charity. You won't be alone in your journey.
Yeah,
and
I would fully back up what Catherine's saying. Is also we have heropreneurs, we have executive teams. So no matter what diversity you're looking for, please, we will try and point you in the right direction.
A huge thank you to Matt and John for sharing their personal stories today and the valuable insights they've gained through their own experiences. Today, we've learned that transitioning to civilian life is not just about finding a new job. It's about finding the right path, the right support, and ultimately the right fit for your future. Matt's journey from client to advisor speaks volumes about the power of mentorship and how the right guidance can help you build confidence, resilience, and a sense of purpose. For more information on how the Forces Employment Charity can support you or to get involved, visit our website, attend one-hour events, or reach out for one-to-one guidance. Until next time, take care, and remember, no matter where you are in your journey, the right fit is out there for you. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.